Hi, everybody. Civics, number 3. Okay, so here's the thing, Jenna. You sent these videos, and I kind of sort of get it, but I really don't know if I do. All right, that's fair enough. So let's start with the Canvas class. So when I'm in the Canvas class and I'm looking at my modules have me coinciding with the lesson, right? Really important. So whatever lesson that I'm going to do on any given day with my modules, right, I'll be able to see, oh, let me see what's going on. Health and nutrition. Okay, neat. Got a little doctor's tech lesson in there. So some people are all about, if everything's not working for me, I can't figure it out myself. I can't. I need to complain or say, oh, this isn't working, it's broken. But it's really not. It just means that there's some kind of control happening on your computer that's blocking a piece of the puzzle. So for example, if you look in Edpuzzle and you say to yourself, you know, I really want to find a lesson on the body, right? So I would definitely make sure that I'm auto signed in and that I could just bebop and scap right in there. Hey, right on, right on. And then I can look up things. If I'm talking about Black Lives Matter or a specialty item in my civics class, Black History Month, or today is women, celebration of the 19th Amendment, and women getting the vote, okay? I can look for health. I can look up health unit, health issues. And a bunch of things come up. Health is wealth, healthy earth. And so you can take a look at health issues, junk food, and it's only 2 minutes, right? So if I wanted to take this video, which is a YouTube video, right? And I wanted to use it in my class, what I would do is behind here, I would copy the link, copy the content, right? And I could take it into my lesson, talk about nutrition, right? And I can add another assignment. And I could have an external URL, right? And I could paste that in there, okay? So that I'd be able to add the Edpuzzle name. And then I would know right away what that's going to be. I could have that assignment in there and I can add the item, okay? If I need to grab that URL again, I could go to Edpuzzle, right? Go to the bottom, share, copy the link, copy link, I click it, go back to my Canvas, click add, right? URL, paste. Okay, this will just be my Edpuzzle lesson. Add item, and this should pop up. So let's go ahead and test that link. It takes a little bit of time because I'm at school and it's a little bit slow. And it says it's broken. So when that happens and it says it refuses to connect, doesn't mean that Edpuzzle's broken. It just means that sometimes you need to allow at this locked area, it'll say allow those cookies, allow Edpuzzle, right? Because right now we have to check that it's already allowed and that we can let it do that, okay? And then we can hit refresh. And if not, you always have to remember that the students have things at their house as well. that they are able to take a look at this media link. And if they can't find the link, you can put it in your announcements or your assignments for that page. Okay? It's very, very easy to do that. So now for civics today, what I'd like to show you is how that EXL spreadsheet matches the tasks. Okay, so the lessons will be in modules. If I click on modules, I can see all these lessons, and the lessons are in PDF format. So if you're using a whiteboard feature in Zoom, you'll be able to mark up this PDF, okay? And these tasks that you're asking them to look at match the CASAS competencies, okay? Remember, that's when assessment meets competency and standards meets instruction. So all these three things are working together. They're not just living on their own, okay? It's very important that you understand that. And if you want to see the NRS reading standards or the listening, speaking, writing, content standards, you can easily download this in a PDF version. And then it's really easy to be able to see the NRS level, okay? And how this matches the ABE level as well. It's very, very important what we're doing and how we look for it from 1 to 6 level, okay? So if you need to see those content standards and how to find that on the CASAS website, it's in the CASAS Basic Skill Content Standards. What does this have to do with what you're talking about, Jenna? So today we're talking about EL Civics, but when we take you to the CASAS website, it's very important that you're able to find all the other things that you need. Okay, which would be the competencies and the standards, okay? Really, really important, okay? It definitely has to do with your evaluation. So I would bookmark this page, definitely make it a part of your bookmark, and then you're able to find it, and you can walk your students through the standards as well if they're interested in that, okay? So I go back to my course, and this is all built from the standards and how it correlates to my instruction, okay? Now, what about the test you were saying? Right. So when I'm in my course, and I go over here to quizzes, I can click on quizzes, and you'll see the post-test, task number 1, and task number 2. And these are just examples, right? Because the actual test has not been released. So these are practice tasks, okay? But for our purposes today, I want to show how you would change the health grading system, okay? So if I'm in my task number 2, this is what it looks like, right? And this coincides with our score sheets. These are our points, okay? So if the total amount of points for this task are 18 points, right, for task number 1, and I can see that in the highest people in my class, students have 8 through 18 and 16 are correct. So when they get how many points off, right, the total amount correct. If they're within this range, they get 10 points. If they're within this range, they get this many points, okay? If they have less than 16 correct, they just get 0, all right? So what I definitely want to do is go to my grading sheet, the task sheet, okay? Remember, these are not your students. This is just a sample. These are not real. These are just a sample, okay? So when I'm looking at any score sheet, for example, as a sample, and I go to the top here, And I know that task number 1 will be 18 points. For example, right? If the total amount is 18 and Sergio only got 10, then I would put 10 in there, right? And I would go down the list, and I could also share this grading sheet with my para if the paras are still going to help with this function that they normally do, right? Like last year. And I go down here and I'm filling this in by just showing you a sample. It's just an example, right? And then I would go through and I would say pass, no pass. Task is over here. So where can I find that? It's in the quizzes. Okay, where did you get this co-op? From Commons. I have to import it. Okay, where did you find the standards? On the CASAS website. Everybody should have their own account. So when you log in, we should be able to see your name. Okay. If I want to see any of the standards, I can download all the standards I want and see it virtually. Okay. And they look like this. This is really, really important for ESL and for ASC. And it's very important when we're looking at word choice and to understand what levels, where do we use that kind of leveling? How would we design our program so that we can build that skill for students? This is where we go. It's very important that we understand the competencies and how they work together. And we can scroll down and we're able to find health, and we can easily find how to access the healthcare system. Very, very important. Okay. Edpuzzle has some extra things for you if you're interested. If you don't want to use it and it's just too hard, the only thing you really need to be using is the pre-made curriculum for you on Canvas. And there are some pre and post test examples for you here. How to use this sheet for health is here. Your name has been adjusted at the bottom, so you click through to your sheet. Tomorrow, Drew will show you how to get your rosters, so you can import all your current students' names here once they're in ASAP. So you don't need to manually put these in. You don't have to do that, okay? So that gives you a little bit more in depth about how to use the post-test health sheets, how to use the CASAS skill set standards, where you can find the pre and post test on the quizzes section right here, and you can go ahead and take a look at that. So remember, just because it has something that's for a beginner, you can level up the vocabulary for any level to beginning and advanced. How do you do that? You look at the standards, okay? And then you modify your word choice based on the level. So as you can see, they're still going to be required to understand vocabulary, right? So you have to decide what would be your focus at the higher level, and you make your adjustments as such. If there's a dot in your box for your level, then that would mean that you're meant to focus on that. That's the focus at that level. Or maybe they're acquiring that skill for the first time. Okay? So it's a little bit more in depth. There's a lot for you to look at and dig through. Remember, this task of health should take a good 6 weeks, right? The month of September, little beginning of October. So you should be thinking inside your mind I don't need to know anything about what's coming next. We'll release that probably in the beginning, middle of September, okay? So there'll be another unit. You'll be able to access it the same way. There'll be another task sheet. You'll be able to access it the same way. And then at the end of those units, I'll be looking for those grades and those results, okay? So hopefully that helps you a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper into the COAP health class. Okay, great. Have a great day.